My name is Stephanie, and I'm going to be guiding you through a moon flow today. So, this is a really great sequence, a really great practice to do in the evenings. It's more cooling than heating, and it's also really fun to do on moon days. So, when there's a full moon, when there's a new moon, and the moon tends to affect our energy. So, just as it affects the tides and the oceans, it affects how we feel. And as yogis, we tend to be more aware of what's going on in our bodies, right? And so you might notice on those full moon days, your energy feels a little scattered, or maybe you feel as if you can't focus, right? Your mind is a little all over the place, or your emotions are elevated. And on the contrary, on new moon days, you might feel a little fatigued, low energy. So this is a nice practice to do at either of those times because it brings the body into greater harmony and balance. It's a little slower than a traditional vinyasa class where you're really moving quite quickly, but it's very effective. So if you've never done a moon practice before, I encourage you to try this, see how it feels in your body, and just notice how it affects you. So we'll begin. If you have two blocks, have them close by, keep them handy. You might choose to use them today. And if your knees are sensitive, you can have a towel or a blanket as well for a little extra cushion and support. We'll begin on our backs. Go ahead and come lie down. And just make your way to the center of your mat, resting your shoulders, your upper back. Relax the head. If you have a ponytail like me, you might need to shift it so the back of the neck feels long and you're not compressing or shortening. And then take a moment here to press down into the feet. Gently lift the hips and lengthen the tailbone towards the heels. Just creating more space in the low back. And then maintaining that length, release your hips towards the floor. We'll start with the soles of the feet together and the knees dropping out to the side, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Now, oftentimes, if we're searching for a deeper stretch, a more intense stretch, we'll pull the heels close to the groin. But for today, since we're working into that energy, that theme of more quieting, cooling, gentle, slide your feet a little further forward. And your legs are creating this diamond shape. The knees will drop out to the side. If this already feels like a lot on the inner thighs, you can slide something under your knees, maybe your blocks, or towels, blanket, whatever you kind of have nearby to work with. Relax your arms by your sides and very gently tuck the shoulder blades underneath you so you feel a lift through the back of your heart. As long as it's comfortable for you, close the eyes and begin to notice as you close your eyes where your awareness goes. So if you had a very active day, or maybe you're just starting your day, your mind might be focusing or thinking of other things. And allow yourself this time to fully come into your body. Give yourself an opportunity to drop in. And it doesn't need to happen immediately, so it's subtle. And as we build on our practice today, you might find that you can drop in a little deeper. Soften the muscles around your face. Relax the corners of your eyes. And notice if the tongue is pressing into the roof of the mouth. See if you can relax your tongue. Relax the lips. And feel your jaw slightly unhinge. So no gripping in the teeth. Notice your shoulders. Relax them towards the floor. Feel into the length of your arms, a sense of softness and ease in your hands and fingers. And then bring your attention to your chest. Allow the heart to feel open and spacious, the belly to relax, hips to feel heavy. And whether you have support under your knees or not, just allow your legs to drop down towards the sides. Release any gripping in your inner thighs and soften your feet and toes. Feel the support beneath you, a sense of solid foundation, allowing yourself to sink and feel heavy. From here, begin to tune into your breath. Start to take some nice, smooth, deep inhales through your nose. And nice, smooth, deep exhales through your nose. And just a few rounds, allowing your attention to be with your breath, noticing how the body responds as you draw the breath deep into the body, and observing how you respond as the breath leaves the nostrils. And take a few more cycles just like that. Inhaling, allowing your body to widen and fill. Exhaling, everything softens and settles a little more. Beautiful. For the last 30 seconds or so, begin to cultivate your Ujjayi breath, finding a little toning at the back of the throat. The breath becomes more audible. And that sound is another tool, and it's a big tool for us. So we listen to the breath to help stay focused, to stay present in the body. Last round here. So nice. Gently start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe allow your head to rock a little side to side if that feels good in your neck. And then bring your head back through center. Use your hands underneath your thighs to gently close the legs as if you were closing a book. Heel toe your feet as wide as your hips and allow your knees to point straight up to the sky. Before we shift or change out of this pose too much, allow your hands to come together in front of your heart, sealing your palms, broadening the chest, the collarbones. And a moment here, this is always optional, but if there's a reason that brought you to your mat today, or a certain intention you'd like to set, take a moment to consider what that might be. And if nothing comes to mind for you today, just continue to breathe, steady and smooth. All together, let's take a full breath in through the nose. And on your exhale, open your mouth and let it go. Release your hands by your sides and blink your eyes open, taking in the room. All right. Hi, yogis. We're going to stay on our backs. Go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze, a gentle rock from right to left, just massaging out that low back a bit. Good. And then find some circles with the knees. So circling the knees in one direction and then the other. Good. Bring your knees to center and pause. Slide your hands behind your thighs, so kind of where the crease of the knees are, and press the knees forward until your arms begin to straighten. As the arms straighten, try to relax the tops of your shoulders. So you don't want to be collapsing the center of the chest. You want to maintain broad, open heart. On an inhale, extend your legs to the sky, flex through the feet. As you exhale, bend your knees, let your heels come towards your bum. Keep pressing the thigh bones forward into your hands. Inhale, straighten and flex. Exhale, bend and point. Twice more. Inhale, straighten and flex, opening up the back of the legs. Exhale, bend and point. Last one. Inhale, straighten the legs, press through the heels, spread your toes. Exhale, bend the knees and point. Keep your right knee hugging in. Place your left foot flat on the mat. With the right knee hugging in, give it a nice squeeze. Maybe circle out the ankle in one direction. and then the other. Good. Pause here. Keep the foot flexed. Slide your left leg forward. Press out through the left heel and point all 5 of your left toes towards the sky. Take an inhale, full deep breath. On an exhale, open your right arm to the side and let your right knee fall to the left. Take a moment to scoot your hips an inch or so to the right so that your hips feel stacked, one on top of the other. And then press the right shoulder blade towards the earth. Relax the sides of your neck. Hopefully you have a little more space than me. I've got the couch blocking. But keep your left hand on top of your right thigh. And on an inhale, begin to straighten your right leg to the side. Press out through the heel. Exhale, bend your right knee, kick your heel towards your bum. So we're doing the same thing we did a moment ago, but we're in a twist, straightening and bending the right knee. Inhale to lengthen and extend. Exhale, re-bend the right knee. Once more, inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, bend the right knee. Firm the belly. Inhale, bring yourself through center. Place your right foot onto the floor. Adjust your hips so you feel neutral on your mat. And then bring your right knee back towards your chest. Give it another squeeze. Flex the foot. Press the knee forward until it aligns over your hip. And lift your shin parallel to the floor. So your right leg is creating a 90-degree angle. Knee is aligning over the hip. Bring your left hand to your left hip crease. And then in a moment, we're going to open the right leg out to the side, keeping this shape, keeping this 90-degree angle. The tendency is for the body to roll to the right with the leg. I want you to work to anchor your outer left hip down so your pelvis remains neutral. And really the work is the thigh bone opening in the hip socket. And so if it's helpful, you can place your right hand on your right thigh. Relax your shoulders. Take an inhale. And take an exhale. The next time you inhale, open your right leg out to the side. Keep pressing the outer left hip down. And go as far as you can go while maintaining a neutral positioning of your pelvis. Exhale, bring your right knee back in line with the hip. We're going to do that twice more. Inhale, open to the right. Exhale, bring it back to center. Once more. Inhale, open to the right. Exhale, bring it back to center. I lied. One more time. Open it out to the right and pause here. Stay, relax your shoulders. Bring your right arm inside of the leg. And you can grab the shin, you can hold behind the thigh. Some of you might be able to grab the foot. And we're going to come into a half happy baby. Pulling the knee towards the earth, anchoring the left side of the waist, the left outer hip. If this is too intense with your left leg straight, you can always re-bend your left knee and stamp the foot onto the mat. Work to maintain a level pelvis so you're not rolling to the right. Take one more full breath in. And on an exhale, release the leg, hug both knees to your chest, and give yourself a little rock and squeeze. Nice side to side. Awesome. All right, second side. Keep the left knee hugging in. Stamp your right foot onto the mat. And just give that left leg a squeeze. You can circle the ankle, spread the toes, opening up the sole of the foot. Really, really nice. And then from here, slide your right leg forward, root down through the heel, and press out through the inseam of your leg. All 5 of the right toes point straight up. Inhale, full deep breath. On an exhale, we'll twist to the right. Left arm opens to the side, left knee moves to the right. Again, find a little tiny scoop of your hips to the left so that they feel more level. And the tendency here sometimes is for that top hip to move towards your shoulder. Instead, can you find length through the left side waist? So press the hip crease away from you. Your right hand can stay on the thigh. We'll start to straighten and bend. Inhale, extend and reach out through the left heel. Exhale, bend the knee. Twice more. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. One more. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Good. On an inhale, firm your belly. Come back to center. Place the left foot down. Adjust your hips so you're nice and neutral.
Bring your left knee to stack over your hip and flex the foot, finding a 90-degree angle in that left leg. Place your right hand to the right hip to help anchor and stabilize this side. Relax your shoulders. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. The next time you inhale, open your left knee out to the side, but keep anchoring through the right outer hip. Exhale, bring the knee in line with the hip. Again, inhale, open the knee out to the side. Think about the thigh bone moving in the hip socket. Exhale, bring it back. Twice more. Inhale, open out to the left. Exhale, bring it back to center. Last one, we hold. Open it out to the left and pause here. Bring your left arm inside of the leg. You can hold behind the thigh, maybe grab the shin, or some of you might be able to grab the pinky toe side of the foot. Flex your foot a lot. Stack your heel over your knee and continue to anchor through the outer right hip. Relax your shoulders, coming into that half happy baby variation. Notice if the extended leg, your right leg, kind of got lazy, right? Can you spin the inner thigh down and keep pressing out through the heel? One more cycle of breath. On an exhale, let it go. Bend both knees, give them a squeeze, a nice hug, gentle rock side to side. And then bring your hands behind your thighs. Start to rock forward and back along your spine a few times, eventually making your way all the way up. And we're gonna come to tabletop position, hands and knees. Swing your legs around behind you, stack your shoulders over your wrists, knees below the hips. Tops of the feet are down and anchored. And spread your toes. Think about pressing down through all 10 toenails. Moving through our cat-cow. Inhale, glide the heart forward, lift the gaze, tilt your tailbone up. Exhale, press down into the earth, round your spine, hollow the belly. Inhale, heart pulls forward, gaze lifts, shoulders slide down the back. Exhale as you press into the earth and hollow the belly. Take a couple more on your own, moving with your breath. Maybe you close your eyes here. So I talked briefly about moon energy being quiet or soft. And the left side of the body is usually associated with this energy. The right side is the sun side. The left side of the body is more lunar energy. So tonight, we're going to work into that left side. We're going to work into the whole body, but we're going to cultivate that lunar energy that tends to live in the left side of the body. And if you're like, what? I don't really know what any of that means. Don't worry about it. Just continue to move. I promise you'll feel it. Take one more cycle of breath, just like that. Good. Find a neutral spine. Walk your hands forward a couple inches as if you were setting up to come into downward dog. And then inhale, shift forward, stack shoulders over wrists. Firm the belly in and up and lengthen the flesh of the buttocks towards the earth. So you don't want your hips collapsing. You want a little lift of the low belly. Inhale here, arms stay straight. Exhale, sway your hips to the right, press back and over to the left. And you're just gonna move like that. Really, really fluid movement here. Breathing, let it feel organic and natural. If it feels good to hold in one spot, go for it. One more circle in this direction, and then you're gonna switch. Circle your hips to the left, back and around. Two more. And one more. Really nice, yogis. Come to neutral. Walk your hands back until they align underneath your shoulders once again. From tabletop position, inhale, extend your right leg back. Lift from the upper inner thigh and point all 5 of your right toes straight down. Keep firming your low belly in and up to stabilize your back body. From the hip socket, rotate your right leg open so that all 5 toes point towards the right. Bend your knee and kick your heel towards your bum. So we've kind of been doing that straightening and bending a few times in different shapes. Find that here. Firm your left outer hip in so you're not collapsing or swaying to the left. As you squeeze your right heel towards your buttocks, Start to circle your right knee. So imagine that you're stirring a big pot of soup, or I always think of like churning butter. Not that I've ever churned butter, but I imagine it's something like this, right? You're just kind of spinning and turning the femur bone, the thigh bone in the hip socket, opening up. Take one more. Good. Square off your hips. Re-extend your right leg. Toes point down. Keep a lift in your navel. Inhale, reach your left arm forward. So opposite leg, opposite arm. Plug your thigh bone into the hip socket and plug your left upper arm bone into the shoulder socket. So imagine that you can draw both of those points straight in towards the belly button. Look down, lengthen the back of your neck. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release your hand, release your knee, child's pose. Take the knees wide, hips towards the heels. And maybe flip the palms, circle out the wrists a little if that feels good in your body. Come back to your breath. Very nice. Make your way back up to tabletop, and we're going to come into the second side. Steady your shoulders over your wrists, knees below the hips. On an inhale, extend the left leg straight back, lifting from the upper inner thigh, toes point down. Firm the right hip in, lift your belly, reach the flesh of the buttocks long. So the spine is extending here. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend your left knee, kick your heel towards your bum. Good, lift the knee a little bit higher, and then rotate the left hip open, like you want to kick towards your left bum. Breathe here, take an inhale, and on an exhale, start to find circles with that left knee. Just kind of turning the thigh bone in the hip socket, making big circles on the wall next to you. And then switch, arms stay straight and strong. Anchor through your knuckles and inner palms. Sometimes the thumbs like to curl in, so really press down through the thumb knuckles. Nice. Square off your hips, re-extend the left leg, toes point down. On an inhale, reach your right arm forward. Opposite leg, opposite arm. Plug thigh bone into hip socket, arm bone into shoulder socket. And lift the low belly. So your core is helping to stabilize you here. One more cycle of breath. Exhale, release the hand, release the knee. Child's pose, press the hips back. Maybe a rock of the hips from side to side, a rock of the forehead on the mat if that feels good. Steady your breath, slow it down. The next time you inhale, come back to tabletop. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes from the belly. Hips go up and back, downward facing dog. So as you come into your first downward dog here, take your time. Pedal out the feet. If you need to take a wider stance, go for it. Press down into the inner palms. Reach the hips high to the sky. Relax your head as much as you can. My flexible friends, notice if your chest, if your front ribs are really sticking out. Can you draw the front ribs in, broaden your waistline, and feel your low back get a little bit wider? Good. Come into your breath. Very nice, yogis. If your feet are wider than your hips, step them in so you're more in a traditional downward dog. On an inhale, glide forward to plank, top of a push-up, shoulders float over the wrists. Wiggle your feet back so that your heels are aligning over the balls of the feet. Feel the belly draw in and your tailbone extend back, while at the same time, your heart bursts forward. Reach the sternum long. On an exhale, hips back, downward dog. Twice more. Inhale, forward to plank, moving with the breath. Exhale, hips go back, downward dog. Last one, we'll hold. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Pause in your plank, release your knees to the mat. Again, moving into a softer variation. Untuck your toes. Keep your body long from knees to the crown of your head. Inhale, full deep breath. Exhale, bend the elbows and meet the earth. And once you come down, you might need to wiggle yourself back a little bit so you're fully on your mat. I kind of always have to do that. And then No cobra yet, no back bends yet. What we're gonna do is roll onto the right side body. I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna roll onto my left so that way I'm looking at you guys. And make a little pillow. Stack your hand under your ear. Stack your hips and your legs. Flex your feet a lot. Pull the low belly in, lengthen your tailbone. And you might find that when you do that, your core engages and allows your legs to lift, right? You can use your left hand for stability and set it in front of your chest. On an inhale, hover your top leg to the height of your hip. From the hip socket, rotate the leg until your toes point straight up. Inhale, reach the leg to hip height. So you're gonna take it in line with your left hip. Exhale, lower the heel, let it hover. Twice more, inhale, reach it up. Exhale to lower. Keep your chest open. One more will hold. Inhale, reach the leg up. Pause here. Flex the foot a lot. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, you don't have to have a fully straightened leg, right? Your knee can be bent. As you press through the heel, breathe. Option, this is extra if you want to play, to reach for the leg. You can hold the calf, you can hold behind the thigh, you might be able to grab the big toe. Relax your shoulders, keep broadening your heart. If you want even more, and this is kind of like the fun extra, you might hover your bottom leg. I think it's fun. You might have a different opinion. Take one more breath here. Awesome. Lower the bottom leg if it's hovering. Release your left hand. Set your top leg down and parallel your feet. Good. Roll to the other side. So you're going to come onto your belly and switch sides. I'll stay facing you guys. Setting yourself up, stacking your hips, stacking your legs, flex your feet. Place your hand underneath your ear for support. You want to keep your head supported. And your right hand can come in front of your chest. Open your heart. Good. Hover your top leg. Rotate the leg so the toes point straight up. Inhale, reach the leg up. Exhale, lower and hover. Inhale, reach the leg up. Exhale, lower and hover. Last one, inhale, reach the leg up. Pause here. You choose. Maybe you hold the leg. Maybe you hold behind the thigh. Maybe you grab the big toe. Breathe. Low belly draws in, tailbone lengthens. Option to hover the bottom leg. And just play. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Moving our body in perhaps new ways, new shapes. Wiggling and kind of wobbling a bit, that's normal. Take one more breath. Release the bottom leg, release your hand, and set both legs down. Parallel your feet, roll onto your belly. Untuck your toes, lengthen through the legs, set hands under elbows. Press into your palms, coil your heart forward and up. Cobra pose. Exhale, lower and release. Tuck the toes. Press to tabletop, hands and knees, and up and back, downward facing dog. Adjust yourself on your mat if you need. From downward facing dog, inhale, lift the heels high to the sky. Bend your knees, look forward. Bottom of your exhale, when you're empty, step, step, or maybe you lightly hop to the front of your mat. Feet are hip distance. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Hands can come to the shins or fingertips in line with the toes. Exhale, fold in. Weight shifts towards the ball of the foot. Let's do that twice more. Inhale to lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as you fold, Uttanasana. Last one, inhale to lengthen and extend. Exhale to fold and release. Add a little bend to your knees. Take your arms wide. Reach your heart forward. Inhale, come to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Release your arms by your side. All right, beautiful job, yogis. So standing at the front of the mat, we're gonna move into Chandra Namaskar. And what that is moon salutations. So we're used to Surya Namaskar, which is very heating, right? Our chaturanga, our back bend, and it moves forward and back on the mat. This is a little different. We move slower, not quite as fast, but you're still gonna definitely feel it. And you get to experience each pose, right?
We're not rushing through it. We're opening the body. We're moving in a way that feels almost like flowy, right? So that feminine energy, that soft or cooling energy, that's what we're cultivating. That's what we're working into. And it feels different in the body. So if you've never done this before, we're going to do a variation on Chandra Namaskar. So there's different versions of it. Just stay with me and I'll walk you through the poses. Come to the front of your mat. Stand with your feet about hip distance apart. Make sure your knees aren't completely locked out. Add a soft bend. Roll your shoulders back. Rotate your palms to face forward. On an inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Interlace your fingers and flip the heels of the hands up. Pull your low belly in. Lengthen your tailbone. Inhale, full deep breath. On an exhale, side bend to the left. And as you side bend to the left, anchor down through your right heel. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the right, pressing down through the left heel. Inhale through center. Exhale, open your arms wide. Turn to the right and step your feet out. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Heels in, toes out. Exhale, bend your elbows, goddess pose. So just pause here for a moment and feel this shape. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Make sure you're not overly arching in your low back. Find some length through the tailbone. And maybe you sink a little deeper. Good. Inhale, straighten the legs. Reach the arms up, palms touch. Exhale, open your arms into a T shape. Rotate your right toes to face the back of your mat. Pivot your left toes in at an angle. So I'm not mirroring you guys, I'm actually going with you. Inhale, lift through the crown of your head. On an exhale, hinge from the hips. Reach forward, forward, forward with those right fingers. Set hand to shin, left arm to the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. If hand to shin feels like a lot, you can always place your hand on a block. So we have our blocks handy. Steer your right hip crease back and in, and make sure you're not completely locking out your right knee. Reach forward and out through the crown of your head as you revolve your heart open. Beautiful. Take one more breath here, feeling the expansion and openness in this pose. On an exhale, gaze down. Circle your left arm over your ear and bring both hands to the floor. Lift your back heel up. Walk your right foot a few inches to the right. So your feet are about hip distance apart. Ground your back heel. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale as you fold. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. And the back toes are slightly angled in. Your right hip crease continues to steer back. Soften your eyes. The next time you inhale, look forward, re-lengthen your spine. Lift the back heel up, slide it a few inches back. Lower your left knee, untuck the toes. Root into the right heel, inhale, arms go up. Maybe you look up and touch. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up. Turn towards your left to the long edge of your mat. Bend your right knee as you straighten the left leg. Skandasana, side lunge. If your heel doesn't touch down, that's okay, it can hover. Mine doesn't get there either, and that's fine. Those of you that want a little extra, maybe hands to the heart. Notice how much your left knee wants to lock out. So lift the underside of the knee so that you're not completely locking the joint. Keep the left foot flexed, broaden your heart. Take an inhale. On an exhale, hands to the earth. Lift your hips, find center. Parallel your feet, walk them in a few inches. Turn your toes out, heels in. Then both knees come into Malasana. Hands to the heart. Roll your heart. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, full deep breath. On an exhale, hands to the earth, lift the hips. Parallel your feet, walk left foot to the left. Turn left toes out, bend into the left knee. Skandasana on the other side.
Little soft bend to the right knee, maybe hands to the heart. Good, bring your hands to the earth, lift your hips, turn to the front of your mat. Bend your right knee, inhale. Exhale, lower, knee to the earth, arms to the sky. Inhale, palms touch, maybe look up if you feel steady. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Hop your right foot in a tiny bit and ground the heel. Fold over your left shin. Steer the left hip back and in. Breathe. On an inhale, lengthen and elongate your spine. As you exhale, adjust your feet, heel to arch. Press down to rise up. Inhale, full deep breath. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Hand to shin or maybe to a block. Right arm to the sky. Revolve your left ribs open. Reach out long through the back of your head. Take one more inhale. And an exhale. Inhale, we rise. Come all the way up. Parallel your feet. Arms to the sky. Big breath. On an exhale, heels in, toes out. Bend your knees, goddess pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Parallel your feet. All 10 toes facing the long edge of your mat. Take an inhale. On an exhale, step your right foot to meet your left. Release your arms, turn to the front. So the flow, the movement of this sequence is more flowy, right? We're kind of circling the mat. It isn't as rigid, it isn't as strict, if you will, right? There's an element of flow, and breathe into that, enjoy that, notice how your body responds. Okay, we're gonna do the other side. So come to the front of your mat, feet hip distance apart, roll your shoulders back, rotate your palms forward. Again, I'll walk you through each step, especially if you're unfamiliar with this. Inhale, the arms go up, interlace your fingers, flip the heels of the hands to the sky. Exhale, side bend to the left as you root down through the right heel. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, open your arms T-shape. Turn to the left and step your feet wide. Reach the arms up, inhale. On an exhale, heels in, toes out. Bend the elbows, goddess squat. Be here, breathe. Inhale, straighten the legs. Arms go up, palms press. Exhale, open your arms in a T shape. Rotate your left toes to the back of your mat and pivot your right foot in at an angle. Inhale, lengthen and lift through the crown of your head. On an exhale, hinge from your left hip. Reach forward, forward, forward. Hand to shin or maybe to a block. Right arm to the sky. Steer the left hip crease back and spin your left ribs open. Maybe look up towards your top thumb if it feels okay on your neck. Nice full breath in. On an exhale, gaze down, circle your right hand to the floor. Lift your back heel up, walk left foot a few inches to the left. Ground your back heel. Inhale, elongate your spine. Exhale, hinge from the hip and fold in. Your feet are bowed hip width apart, back toes are slightly angled in, and we continue to work on steering the left hip back. Notice how light the inner edge of your left foot might feel. See if you can press down more through the inner arch. The next time you breathe in, reach your heart forward, re-bend your left knee. Lift your back heel up, slide it back. Lower the right knee, untuck the toes. Root into the shin. Inhale, bring the arms up. Maybe look and touch. Exhale, lower your hands to the floor. Lift the back knee up as you tuck the toes. Turn towards the right. Coming into our side lunge, bend into your left knee. Straighten your right leg, Skandasana. Lift your heart. Maybe you play with balance. This side could be totally different. For me, it definitely is. And then release your hands towards the floor. Lift your hips. Find the center of your mat. Heel toe your feet in a few inches. Toes out, heels in, bend the knees, squat, malasana. Lower the hands to the floor, straighten the legs, parallel your feet. Walk your right foot to the front of the mat, turn the toes out. Bend into your right knee, straighten your left leg. Perhaps you lift your heart. Mindful again that we're not locking out that left knee. Beautiful, hands to the earth. Lift the hips, turn to the front of your mat. Walk your right foot a few inches to the right. From here, release the left knee, untuck the toes. Root into the left shin. Inhale, arms go up. Maybe look and touch. Exhale, hands to the earth. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Hop the back foot in about a foot or so and ground the heel. So you're just shortening your stance up. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Exhale as you fold. Both legs are straight without completely locking out the front knee. Steer the right hip back and in. Deepen your breath. This is one of my favorite poses. It offers a lot of length through the hamstrings, through the back body. So nice, yogis. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Walk your right foot a few inches to the left. Setting up, heel to arch. Press down to rise up. Adjust your stance if you need, maybe taking it a little wider. Inhale as you lift through the crown of your head. On an exhale, hinge from the hips. Reach right hand forward, set it to your shin or to a block. Reach the top arm to the sky. So generally, I prefer to use a block in triangle, but because we're moving rather quickly through this pose, it's okay to place your hand on your shin. Make sure you're not totally locking out though. Press down to rise up, inhale. Parallel your feet, arms to the sky, big breath. Exhale, heels in, toes out. Find your goddess squat. Inhale, straighten the legs, bring the palms to touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Parallel your feet, step your left leg to meet your right. Release your arms, turn to the front of your mat. And that's a full sequence of our Chandra Namaskar. Little variations here and there. All right, standing in Tadasana, shoulders roll back, lift and broaden your heart. Notice how you feel. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knees, place the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Feet are about as wide as your hips from downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up, lift it from the upper inner thigh. Now we did this earlier when we were in tabletop. You can always lower the left knee and take it from tabletop if you need. Bend your right knee, kick your heel towards your bum. Rotate the hip open and squeeze the heel towards the buttocks. Try not to sway to the left. Start to circle out your knee once again. Rotating in one direction, arms are straight and strong. You're pushing the earth away from you. And then circle the other way. Relax your head. Inhale, re-extend the right leg. Square off the hips, toes point down. As you exhale, shift forward to plank. Pull the knee to the chest, push the earth away. Step, step, right foot between the hands. Ground your back heel, setting up heel to arch a line. Press down to rise up, warrior two. I'm gonna flip around so that way my back isn't to you. I'm gonna adjust my mat again. It got all wobbly when we were doing those moon salutations. So in your warrior two, bend into your right knee. Have the knee tracking with your second toe. In other words, you don't want the knee to be kind of dancy. You don't want it shifting to one side or the other. Steer the right hip crease back as you pin it in, and then lift up and out of this right hip crease. Find length and space across the side of the body. Reach the arms. Rotate your right palm up. Inhale, take it back. Reverse warrior. Stay in your reverse, straighten your right leg. Again, without locking the knee out. Full breath in. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Reach forward, forward, forward. Hand to shin. Top arm to the sky. Breathe here. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. And we've done this a few times in that moon salutation. So breathe into it. We get to hold it a few extra cycles. Reach your heart long. Revolve and rotate the right ribs open. Very nice. Gaze down. Bring your top hand to your hip. Add a little bend to your right knee. And you're going to place your fingers to the floor. You might need to grab a block, and that's totally fine. Step your back foot in halfway. So shorten up your triangle pose. Walk your right fingertips at a diagonal from your pinky toe. So your hand is further forward, and we're going to shift the weight into the right leg, into the right hand, and lift the left leg up, coming into half moon pose. Maybe wiggle your fingertips forward a little more, stacking your wrists underneath your shoulders. Option to re-extend your left arm. Breathe. We've done a lot of work to open up the hip already. Option here to bend the knee. Kick the heel to the bum, and maybe you grab that foot. It should feel familiar, guys. Revolve your heart open. Reach out long through the crown of your head. And then try not to let the knee go up. Keep it in line with your hip. If you do have that foot, firm the belly in. Lengthen the tailbone towards your lifted knee. Inhale, re-extend the leg. Come back to Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Of course, we gotta fit this in when we're doing a moon practice. Take one more breath. Exhale, release your top hand. Square off your hips. Release your leg. You come into a forward fold, let it go. You can clasp opposite elbows, rock it a little side to side. Very nice. And release your arms. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale as you fold and release. Press down into the feet, circle the arms, rise to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Release your arms by your side. Make sure you're towards the front of your mat. I'm gonna go back to the front of my mat. Last side, shoulders draw back, standing in your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees, set your hands, step to downward dog. So if you're really, really craving a vinyasa, you can definitely go through it. If not, see how it feels just for today's practice to move into downward dog, to skip our habitual vinyasa, right? Notice how it feels. We're already plenty warm. From downward facing dog, inhale, float your left leg up. Bend the knee, kick the heel towards the bum. Rotate the left hip open from the hip socket. So notice the same action we're going to use in our half moon pose. Circle the knee in one direction, keep firming the outer right hip in, and then circle the other way. Nice, re-extend the legs, square off your hips, toes point down. Exhale, shift forward to plank, pull the knee to the chest, step, step, left foot between the hands. Ground your back heel, heel to arch aligned, press down to rise up, warrior two. Adjusting as you need, allowing yourself to fully sink into that left knee, thinking about shin or thigh parallel to the floor. Sides of the waist are long and lifted, and your heart and chest are revolving and opening to the long edge of the mat. Rotate your left palm. Inhale, take it up and back, reverse warrior. Stay in your reverse, straighten your left leg without locking the knee out. Inhale, grow even longer. Find space between hip crease and armpit. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Reach forward, forward, forward. Hand to shin or perhaps to a block. Right arm to the sky. Rotate and turn your left ribs open as you steer your left hip crease back. Maybe you look up. Triangle pose, our old friend. We've seen it a few times today. And if we're talking about moon themed, your triangle pose could feel like a star, right? Opening up and radiating through all points, the feet, the arms, the crown of the head. From your triangle pose, bring your top hand to your hip. Gaze down towards your big toe. Add a little bend into the left knee, and then step the back foot in a few inches. So shortening up, narrowing out. Release your left hand to the floor, set it next to your pinky toe, and walk the fingertips out so they're at a diagonal. As you shift the weight into your left foot, bring your hand further forward. Press down into that left leg to lift your right leg up. Keep rotating the hip open and flexing through your right foot. Tendency here is to sway to the left. Firm the outer left hip in. So this is just like triangle pose, but on one leg, right? If you think about it, and maybe you radiate your top arm up. Reach the crown of the head forward. Ardha Chandrasana. My friends that want a little extra spice, you can bend your top knee, reach for the foot, maybe you grab it. Work to keep the knee in line with the hip and keep spinning your heart open. Maybe play with where your gaze goes. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Release the lifted leg, re-extend, open up into your half moon. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower the right hand, square off your hips, release the leg, forward fold. Soften your knees and just let it go. Gentle rock side to side. Good. Release your arms towards the floor. Heel toe your feet all the way together. Lift the heels, come onto the balls of the feet and bend your knees. Squat your hips towards your heels and come into, I like to call this ball pose. I don't think that's the, Sanskrit name, but this is what it looks like in your body. You're squeezing into a little ball, outer ankles firm in, knees are together. You can lift your hands if you feel steady. And then on an exhale, reach your arms forward, lower the heels. Try to hover the buttocks. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower the bum. Release your hands to the mat and bring yourself all the way down. Stretch the legs forward, reach your arms over your head. Inhale, full deep breath. Exhale, let it go. Rebend your knees. Place your feet as wide as your hips. Relax your arms by your sides. Rotate your fingers, your palms rather, to face down. Make sure that your feet are about as wide as your hips. So not too wide and definitely not together. Gently snuggle your shoulders underneath you and lift your heart. If your fingertips can graze your heels, don't come in any closer than that. On an inhale, lift your hips up, bridge pose. On an exhale, 1 vertebra at a time, lower down. So we're just going to do some dynamic bridges. Inhale, lift the hips, keep your gaze straight up. Exhale, lower down. Only 2 more. Inhale, lift the hips. Maybe your eyes close. Exhale, lower. And last one, inhale, lift the hips. Exhale to lower. Beautiful. As your hips land, bring your right knee to your chest. Straighten your left leg. We did this at the very beginning. Inhale. Exhale. Right knee to the left. A little scoot of the hips to the right as you open that right arm. Relax your shoulder. Unwinding the practice. Inhale, come through center. Switch sides. Adjust your hips. Straighten your right leg, left knee in. Full breath. Exhale. Twist to the right. Scoot your hips to the left. Open your left arm out. And allow your body to spill out. On an inhale, come back to center. Bend both knees, adjust your hips. Hug both of your knees into your heart. Find your shins, gentle rock, side to side. Little massage of the low back. And then take the knees wide, flex the feet, and let's come into a happy baby. We did that half happy baby in the beginning. See if you can find a full happy baby here. Again, you might choose to hold behind the thighs, hold on to the shins, or perhaps you're able to grab the feet. But notice if you go to your extreme, right? If you reach as far as you can, does it cause your tailbone and your low back to lift away from the mat? Instead, bring your hands a little lower and think about anchoring your tailbone down so that you maintain a neutral curve in your low back. Maybe you rock a little side to side. Take 2 more breaths in your happy baby. And then exhale, hug your knees to your heart. Give yourself a great big squeeze, forehead to knees, knees to forehead. Everything draws in. On an exhale, let everything go. Straighten the legs on your mat. If your low back feels tender, you can definitely keep your knees bent. Relax your arms by the sides. Take up space. Gently press into the back of the skull to help snuggle the shoulders underneath you. Feel the effort begin to drop away. Allow your body to start to release. And even the breath begins to settle, returning to its natural rhythm, natural pace. Allowing yourself these final few moments for your efforts, for your practice, for all the work you put in to really settle into the body. And giving yourself this time to rest. Final pose, Shavasana. You may stay as long as you need in this final shape. If you feel ready to come back, gently wiggle your fingers, your toes. Maybe rock the head side to side, bringing the awareness back into the body. And on an inhale in your own time, stretch your arms over your head, lengthen through your body, full stretch. On an exhale, gather the knees into the heart and gentle rock side to side, reawakening the body, bringing yourself back. And eventually roll to one side, pausing for a beat,
And then slowly, with the eyes closed, bring yourself upright to seated. And as you make your way into any comfortable seat, roll your shoulders back, lift through the crown of your head. Notice how you feel. So this moon practice connects us to that lunar energy, softer, creative, more feminine. And it's important to have that, right? If we're constantly on the go, if we're constantly pushing our energy out and nonstop, we'll burn out. So this is a beautiful practice to incorporate into your yoga, into your kind of repertoire, and use this time, this energy of the moon to soothe your body, to nurture your heart. Let's bring the hands together in front of the chest, sealing the palms, a moment of gratitude, honoring this practice and the many, many things that it offers us. Let's close with a final breath. Inhale as you fill the lungs. On an exhale, bow to your lifted heart. Namaste.